I feel like I sound so timid, small, and Canadian right now. Joe Clifford, you're up next. You're the next contestant. I'm doing no introduction for you whatsoever. He's got a stack of books. They're available everywhere. All the usual outlets, all the usual places. Come on up, Joe. But you didn't bring any, did you?
I did not. I didn't bring any books because this night is for Tom Pitts. He's being very modest. Can we have a nice round of applause? Yeah. In fact, I rarely read anything new when I read because I kind of hate writing. I just recycle stuff from my books because it's not really a fun thing. Anyway, I want to do something special for Tom, so I wrote something new here, which is still a lot of things I culled from my blog, but I want to talk about how I got to know him because his friendship, if you let me get a little sappy from him, is one of the dearest things in my life. So, as you probably know, I met Tom Pitts back in the salad days at a house on a hill they called Hepatitis Heights. It's a place I revisit often, not literally, though I do drive by from time to time. The shithole still looks the same from the outside, crumbling, dilapidated, peeling paint, broken steps and broken windows, and the house still feels so evil, looming above SF General Hospital and cast against the backdrop of San Francisco's angry European sky. That's how Tom described the city once. I stole that line, word for a novel no one will ever read. But being here tonight for Tom's launch, it's got me thinking of that house and how we met, and it's got me waxing nostalgic, although nostalgic probably isn't the right word. For a long time after I got straight, I'd recall those days with some fondness, even romance, because a part of me, a sick part, still wanted to be there, fucking up and dying, because dying is the easy part. Tom wrote a song with his band Short Dogs Grow, which was pretty big in the 80s. There's a line I love. I don't want the money back, I just want the time. I'm probably fucking that up, forgive me Tom, but we both wasted a lot of both. The first time I heard that song was a few years ago.
Hey, you're standing in front of my camera.
When Short Dogs reunited for the documentary about the Chatterbox, the punk bar down the road. I went to see him play with my then fiancée, now wife, Justine. It was surreal running into so many old faces in such a played-out scene, everything the same, yet somehow radically different. I'm not being overly dramatic when I say I really thought Tom and I were going to die back then. And the tragedy of that statement is, it was no big deal. Like, hey, it might rain later, or the Niners lost again, or we're out of milk. Oh well. Those times have been reduced to a series of anecdotes that both Tom and I tell. Hey, remember doing coke with David Bowie's drummer in that motel in San Bruno? But each time we tell these stories, we do so with less conviction, almost out of obligation, like when ex-Army pals get together over beers and reminisce about the old platoon, because goddammit, Charlie Finnegan might have been an asshole, but he was good people. Having survived that experience is not all that different than guys who served together. And yes, I know one is patriotic and awesome and defending America and freedom, the other is being a low-life junkie. I'm not trying to sound like Gwyneth Paltrow. I just mean, in terms of the irreversible psychological damage it did, there lingers an almost PTSD after effect. Like if I bounce a check, I'm certain the bank will close my account, and then I'll get a flesh-eating bacterial disease, and I'll end up back under the bridge. Not that Tom or I ever actually lived under a bridge. We were good white boy suburban junkies. That's just a euphemism. Though I doubt it could have been much worse than that shitberg on the hill where we met. No running water, overstuffed black trash bags reeking in the hall, because garbage men stopped collecting our garbage long ago. Which is what happens when you don't pay your bill. We didn't pay any bills. We didn't pay rent either. We squatted. Even if we couldn't actually take a shit in the house, the fucking toilet was so clogged, with Lord knows what, we'd have to walk all the way down to the hospital to use the bathroom. The Heights was crawling with mice and transvestites. They'd get in your hair and in your clothes when you slept, the mice, not the transvestites, though with enough speed, I guess anything is possible. There was always some ex-con crashing up there, and as reprehensible as some of these people were, the danger they posed seldom seemed real. You'd get these monsters just released from San Quentin who'd come up there, beat the shit out of anyone holding, maybe rape someone, you know, a typical Wednesday, and this was my home. All I really had was Tom, who'd disappear for long stretches at a time, but he'd always come back like a yo-yo, or a boomerang, or a foot fungus. I'd trudge up that hill many a rainy afternoon to find Tom hunkered in the corner on this beat-up desktop computer he hauled with him everywhere he went, which contained all his stories, furiously typing away. It made no sense to me. I still played music. I was going to be a rock star, even if truth rendered that passion a little more than a hobby. My life was an endless loop, scam, steal, score, repeat. But I think Tom actually believed he'd get out, that he'd be a writer someday. The days I spent with Tom at Hepatitis Heights were about as dark as life can get. Turning what happened there into art may be the only way guys like Tom and I can exercise that experience. Not just there, but with our lives. Make sense of the madness, the time we wasted. I don't want the money back, I want the time. All this is a long way of saying, although I am fucking glad I don't live that way anymore. I'm glad also they extracted something positive like meeting Tom. There's a misnomer about addiction and how those people aren't your real friends. There's a lot of useless scammers when you're addicted. There's a lot of assholes in the straight world too. Some of my best friends today, the guys I still talk to and would bleed for, were junkies and fuck-ups like me, who also left that life behind. And knowing them now confirms what I suspected all along, that at heart, we were good people. We were just fucked up, caught up in something too fucked to get out of. When I cleaned up and got my degrees, I was far away from San Francisco in South Florida. I thought of Tom off, and I just assumed that like Junkie Jason and so many others, he was probably dead too. I mean, what are the odds both of us would make it out? That's what he said to me when I tracked him down finally, and I do mean track, through a friend of a friend of a friend. I got his email address and typed him a quick message, something like, hey, this is Joe from Hepatitis Heights, and that's what he wrote back. Oh, I see you made it out too. Now we both have beautiful families, kids, we work together as editors out of the gutter, we both have our novels published. Life is some trippy shit, we both made it home. Tom Pitts is a righteous motherfucker, as well as a hell of a writer, and I'm proud to call him my friend. So here's to my brother from another. Congrats on Hustle, Busty. It's a hustle, buddy. It's a hell of a book. Please welcome Tom Pitts.